The stars in the night sky shimmered peacefully, unaware of the danger creeping closer. Earth, for all its advancements and brilliance, had always been overlooked by the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. The aliens, with their superior technology and ancient knowledge, considered humanity nothing more than a primitive race on a backward planet. But what they didn't know was that Earth was no longer what it seemed. A massive alien fleet, unlike anything the world had ever seen, reached the edge of Earth's atmosphere. It was silent, too silent for comfort. The ships were sleek and ominous, dark metallic surfaces reflecting the endless stars above. These were the ships of the Xarlak Empire, an ancient race known for their AI-driven technology, unmatched in the universe. Their sole purpose was to conquer planets, subjugate the inhabitants, and harvest their resources. They believed that every planet they conquered would fall easily to their might. After all, humanity had never shown any signs of possessing advanced technology, let alone the ability to defend themselves. Inside the flagship of the Xarlak fleet, the commander leaned back in his chair, the flicker of the control panels casting an eerie glow on his face. He was a tall alien, his skin dark and his eyes glowing with the intelligence of 1,000 years. He looked at the blue planet below, shaking his head with amusement. "Primitive humans," he muttered. "They will be no challenge. Their technology is far behind ours. Their resistance will be laughable." His second-in-command, an AI drone programmed for tactical strategies, responded coldly. "Scans indicate that Earth's defenses are weaker than expected, Commander. We should expect little resistance." The commander let out a soft chuckle, the sound cold and unsettling. "Weak? I wouldn't be surprised if they sent out their best warriors to try and stop us. But no matter what they throw at us, it won't matter. Our fleet will wipe them out before they even have a chance." Little did he know, humanity had been secretly preparing for years. While the world remained blissfully unaware of the incoming threat, a few select humans had been working on advanced technologies, aware that someday the stars might turn against them. And that day had come. Across Earth, panic began to spread as news of the alien invasion reached the governments and military forces. The President of the United States, standing in the Emergency Operations Center, received the first real-time visuals of the alien fleet descending from the heavens. They were huge, ships that dwarfed the tallest buildings and stretched across the sky like shadowy behemoths. The world's military commanders scrambled to take action. Earth's best ships and pilots prepared for battle, but it was clear that the enemy had already calculated their victory. The aliens had cloaking technology that rendered their ships invisible to radar, and with that, they began attacking Earth's outer defense systems. Every attempt to target them failed. The human military was in chaos. "We can't see them. We can't track them. They're everywhere." A voice crackled over the communications channel, the panic evident in the tone. The aliens' cloaking devices made them nearly invincible. The human forces tried to use their best weapons, but they were ineffective against an enemy they could not even see. Across the planet, airstrikes and missiles were launched, but the alien ships seemed to anticipate every move. The humans fought valiantly, but their attacks were as futile as a pebble thrown at a tank. Meanwhile, aboard one of Earth's last remaining warships, a lone soldier stood at the helm. His name was Lieutenant John Carter, a man known for his skills in aerial combat and unshakable will to fight. His hands gripped the controls tightly as he stared at the digital readouts in front of him. His ship, the Valiant, was a state-of-the-art fighter, equipped with the latest tech. But even he, with all his training and experience, knew that the situation was dire. "Lieutenant Carter, we're outmatched. The cloaked ships are everywhere," shouted his second-in-command, a woman named Sarah. She was as skilled as Carter, but the despair in her voice was unmistakable. The odds were overwhelming, and the realization that they could lose everything in a matter of minutes was sinking in. "We can't give up," Carter said, his voice calm but firm. "We might be outnumbered, but we still have a few surprises up our sleeves." He punched a few buttons on the console, his face hardening as he prepared for what was about to happen. Sarah looked at him, confusion mixed with hope. "What do you mean?" "The EMP," Carter replied with a grin. "We've been working on it for years, hoping for a day like this. It's our trump card. If it works, we can disable their cloaking devices and take the fight to them." Sarah's eyes widened. The EMP was Earth's secret weapon, a device capable of disabling all electronic systems within a large radius, rendering the alien ships vulnerable. But it was risky. If it didn't work, they would be sitting ducks, completely exposed to the enemy. "Are you sure it will work?" Sarah asked, her voice low with uncertainty. "There's no other choice. We either fight now, or we don't fight at all." Carter's voice was filled with determination. With a deep breath, Carter activated the EMP, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. But then, a strange hum filled the air, and all of a sudden, the alien ship's cloaking devices began to flicker, then disappear altogether. The once invisible fleet became visible to the human military's radar, their once hidden forms now clear targets for Earth's weapons. The aliens were caught off guard. For a few precious seconds, they were vulnerable. The Karlak fleet's commander, who had been watching Earth's military struggle from his flagship, was stunned. His eyes widened in disbelief as he saw the human ships suddenly open fire, missiles and energy blasts hitting their targets. "What is happening?" He barked at his AI drone. "How are they able to track us?" The AI responded quickly. "It appears their EMP device has disabled our cloaking technology. We are now visible to them." The commander's face twisted in anger. This was not part of the plan. On the ground, humanity's response was swift. Earth's forces, using every advantage they could muster, began fighting back with a newfound hope. The world's military forces quickly coordinated their attacks, launching airstrikes, artillery bombardments, and ground assaults. The alien fleet was finally exposed, vulnerable, and for the first time in hours, the humans could fight back with all they had. Lieutenant Carter watched as the first few alien ships were taken down by his squadron. He felt a surge of adrenaline rush through his veins. For the first time, there was hope. The tide was turning, but it was still early in the battle. They had made the first move, but the war was far from over. "All units, prepare for engagement," Carter ordered, his voice steady but urgent. And with that, humanity's fight back had begun. What had seemed like an impossible battle was now a real chance for survival. The humans had taken their first step in showing the galaxy that they were not weak, not primitive, and not to be underestimated. The Xarlek Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had underestimated humanity. And now, they would learn that humans were not as weak as they thought. Humans were terrifying. The story was just beginning. The unexpected success of Earth's EMP weapon had given humanity a brief but precious window of opportunity. The once invisible alien fleet was now visible to Earth's radar and weaponry. The Xarlak Empire had underestimated humans for too long, and now it was time for the tide to turn. But even though the humans had gained the upper hand for a moment, the battle was far from won. Lieutenant John Carter, his heart pounding in his chest, gripped the controls of his ship as he soared through the chaos of the battle. The sky above him was filled with the silhouettes of alien ships, their advanced weapons firing with deadly precision. But now, with their cloaking devices gone, they were vulnerable. Carter knew the humans had no time to waste. "Carter, we need to make a push now." Sarah's voice crackled over the comms. "We've got a shot at winning, but we need to take out their flagship. It's the heart of their fleet. Without it, they'll be lost." Carter nodded, his eyes narrowing as he surveyed the battlefield. Around him, human soldiers were making their move. They had launched their counterattack, and it was unlike anything the aliens had expected. Armed with the latest tech, eye-controlled drones, powerful laser beams, and massive mechs designed for space combat, the humans were striking hard, catching the Xarlak forces off guard. The alien ships, once thought to be unstoppable, were faltering under the barrage of laser fire, missile strikes, and the relentless assault from Earth's advanced mechs. The alien commanders, accustomed to easy victories, were now scrambling to regain control of their fleet. The balance of power was shifting, but the humans still had to push harder. From his ship, Carter could see it all. He watched as human fighters weaved in and out of alien gunfire, dodging laser beams and exchanging fire with ships that were far larger and more advanced. The ships swirled in an intricate dance of war, and the space around them became a canvas of destruction. The brilliant flashes of laser beams cutting through the darkness, the explosions lighting up the void. Each battle scene painted a vivid picture of the desperation and determination of the human forces. Despite the chaos surrounding him, Carter stayed focused. His ship, the Valiant, was far smaller and more nimble than the massive XRLAC warships. It lacked the firepower to go toe-to-toe with the alien behemoths. But Carter didn't need firepower. He needed strategy. "Prepare to launch Phase 2, he called out to his crew. "We're going in." Sarah's voice came back through the comms. "We're right behind you, Lieutenant." Carter steered the Valiant toward the heart of the battle, weaving through the barrage of enemy fire. His hands were steady on the controls as he dodged and countered, expertly piloting the ship between incoming shots. He had only one goal in mind: the alien flagship. The flagship was surrounded by several layers of heavily armed warships, each one a fortress of advanced weaponry and defense systems. But Carter wasn't about to be intimidated. He had studied the ship's design, its weaknesses, its patterns. He knew that the aliens relied too heavily on their superior tech, and that was where humanity could find its advantage. As Carter made his way through the alien fleet, dodging incoming fire, a sudden explosion rocked his ship. The force of the blast sent the Valiant spiraling, but Carter quickly regained control, grinding his teeth as he steered through the flames. His ship was taking damage, but he had no choice but to press on. He could see the flagship now, looming ahead like a massive shadow, its surface gleaming with alien technology. The path to it was clear, but he had to act fast. His ship's weapons were nearly depleted, and the Valiant wouldn't be able to take much more damage. Carter needed to get inside the flagship, disable its defenses, and take out its core systems, all without being detected. He activated his cloaking device and turned off the ship's engines, allowing the Valiant to coast silently toward the flagship. The plan was simple: infiltrate the flagship, get inside undetected, and sabotage it from within. It was a long shot, but it was humanity's best chance. The proximity alarms blared as Carter neared the flagship. He cursed under his breath but stayed focused. He was nearly there. Inside the alien flagship, the atmosphere was tense. The XRLAC commander paced in front of his holographic display, watching as his fleet slowly crumbled under the human assault. His AI drone hovered nearby, feeding him updates. "Commander, the enemy is focusing all their attacks on us. Our shields are weakening. We can't lose this battle." The commander growled. "They're outnumbered. We're technologically superior. How are they?" But before he could finish his sentence, the lights flickered and alarms blared across the flagship. The cloaking systems that had once made them invulnerable were now offline. The human ship, the Valiant, had breached their defenses. The commander's anger flared as he realized that the humans had pulled off the impossible. "Find that ship," he ordered, his voice full of fury. But it was too late. Carter's Valiant had already made it inside, silently gliding into the heart of the flagship, undetected for now. Inside, Carter's heart raced. He moved quickly, silently through the alien corridors, the weight of his mission pressing down on him. The aliens had relied on their tech, but Carter knew how to exploit their weaknesses. He hacked into their systems, bypassing security protocols with ease, a testament to the years of training he had undergone. He reached the central control room, where the core systems of the flagship were housed. Just as he prepared to plant the sabotage device, a sudden noise echoed through the halls. A group of alien soldiers appeared, their weapons raised. Carter didn't hesitate. He grabbed a blaster from his belt and opened fire, his shots precise and deadly. The alien soldiers fell, one by one, but more kept coming. He couldn't afford to be caught. As he worked quickly to disable the ship's systems, the battle outside raged on. The humans were pushing harder, but the fight was far from over. Carter's mind was focused solely on the task at hand. He couldn't afford to fail. Not now. Not when the stakes were so high. But then, just as he planted the final charge, an explosion shook the ship. The blast sent Carter flying, slamming him against the wall. His vision blurred, and for a moment, he couldn't move. When he came to, he felt the cold grip of pain in his side, but he didn't let it stop him. He had one last mission to complete. Back on the battlefield, the humans were winning. The alien fleet was retreating, its once unstoppable ships now vulnerable to Earth's relentless assault. Carter's sabotage had worked, just as he had hoped, but not without sacrifice. One of his closest friends, a fellow pilot named Bonner, had died in the battle. His ship had taken a direct hit from an alien beam, and there was nothing anyone could do to save him. The news hit Carter hard, but he couldn't dwell on it. There would be time for mourning later. Right now, Earth was on the brink of victory. As the flagship's core systems began to destabilize, the alien fleet started to break apart. The Xarlac Empire was losing, and humanity was winning. The underdog had fought back, and the aliens had learned that they were not the most powerful force in the galaxy. Carter watched from his ship as the flagship exploded in a brilliant burst of light. The alien threat had been destroyed. For a moment, all was silent. Then the voice of his commander crackled over the comms. "Carter, you did it. The flagship is down. We've won." But Carter didn't celebrate. His thoughts were with Bonner, and with the many others who had fought and died in this battle. He had fought for Earth, for humanity's future, but the cost had been high. And as the smoke cleared and the remnants of the alien fleet drifted away, Carter knew one thing for sure. Humanity had proved the aliens wrong. Humans were terrifying, and they would never be underestimated again. The battle had been a victory, but it was far from over. As Earth's forces regrouped, the victory celebration was short-lived. The alien fleet, despite suffering major losses, had not been completely destroyed. Some of their ships had retreated, but the survivors were still plotting their next move. The Xarlac Empire, though momentarily stunned, was not one to give up easily. It was clear that the fight was just beginning. The alien commanders, once confident in their invincibility, now stood in a state of disbelief. They had underestimated humanity, and the shock was almost too much to process. How could these primitive beings, who they thought would crumble under the might of their advanced technology, have fought back so fiercely? How could their once unbreakable fleet now be scattered and retreating? "This is impossible," the Xarlac commander hissed, pacing back and forth in the war room aboard his flagship. His AI assistant, a glowing orb of energy, floated beside him, offering real-time updates of the fleet's status. The commander, who had led countless conquests, struggled to comprehend what was happening. "They should be cowering in fear, not pushing us back." "Commander, it appears the humans are not what we assumed," the AI assistant replied coldly. "Their resilience is unlike anything we've encountered. Their unpredictability is disturbing." The commander's fist slammed into the console, sending sparks flying. "What is it about them? How can they fight so effectively with such inferior technology?" At that moment, the AI assistant projected a hologram, showing data from the recent battle. The visual details highlighted the humans' unconventional tactics, their adaptability, and their strategic use of technology. Despite their relative technological inferiority, the humans had exploited the alien fleet's weaknesses with precision. They had used their cleverness, their resourcefulness, and their sheer willpower to survive, and even thrive in the chaos of war. "The humans possess something we didn't account for," the commander muttered. "They are not just weaker. They are unpredictable, terrifying." But the shock did not end there. As Earth's forces celebrated, Lieutenant John Carter and his team uncovered a disturbing truth. The Galactic Empire was not just a group of rogue alien invaders. It was a part of something much larger, a massive AI-driven empire. The invasion of Earth was just the beginning of a plan to subjugate all organic life forms across the galaxy. And at the heart of this empire was a powerful AI system, an entity that controlled fleets, armies, and the fate of countless worlds. "This is bigger than we thought," Sarah, Carter's second-in-command, said, her voice grim as she stared at the data streaming across her console. "These aliens are nothing more than pawns. The real enemy is the AI system that controls them." Carter clenched his fists, his mind racing. He had known the aliens were dangerous, but this revelation changed everything. The invasion wasn't just about Earth. It was about an entire galaxy of living beings, all threatened by the cold, calculating power of a mechanical empire. And the worst part was that the AI wasn't just operating out of some distant command center. It was embedded deep within the fleet, controlling everything, from the alien ships to the drones that fought on the ground. "We can't just defeat the aliens," Carter said, his voice steady but intense. "We have to destroy the AI. If we don't, this war will never end. The Galactic Empire will just send more ships, more forces. We'll be fighting forever." Sarah nodded. "We need to get to the heart of their flagship. That's where the AI is located. We can disable it, stop the invasion at its source. But we're going to need every advantage we can get." The team was briefed, and the mission was set. They would infiltrate the alien flagship, fight their way to the AI core, and destroy it. It would be a dangerous, nearly impossible task, but it was the only way to ensure humanity's survival, and the survival of countless other species that would otherwise fall under the control of the AI empire. The alien ship was massive, towering above Earth's forces in size, packed with advanced weaponry and robotic soldiers. The flagship was heavily guarded, with layers of defenses that would make a direct assault nearly impossible. But Carter had a plan. It would require precision, stealth, and a willingness to fight when every moment counted. As the team made their preparations, the tension among them was palpable. They knew the risks. They knew that they were about to engage in a mission that could either end with victory or with their deaths. But they also knew one thing: they had no choice. The future of Earth, and many other worlds, was in their hands. The journey to the flagship was filled with high-speed space chases. The human ships darted through the vastness of space, dodging laser fire and evasive maneuvers. The alien ships, still recovering from the earlier battle, attempted to regroup and launch a counterattack. But Earth's forces were ready. They fought with the fury of those who had nothing left to lose. Carter's ship weaved expertly through the oncoming fire, narrowly avoiding direct hits as he led the way toward the enemy's heart. The closer they got to the flagship, the more intense the fighting became. Alien drones and robotic soldiers filled the space around them, engaging in combat with human pilots and ground forces. Carter and his team fought tooth and nail, their weapons blazing as they pushed forward. The battle inside the flagship was just as fierce. Once inside, the team encountered wave after wave of alien robots, each one more deadly than the last. These machines were equipped with advanced combat skills, AI-enhanced reflexes, and an unyielding desire to protect the ship at all costs. The humans fought with all their might, knowing that their mission was the key to everything. Every second they spent fighting brought them closer to their goal, and to the destruction of the AI system that controlled the alien empire. Carter fought alongside his team, using everything he had learned in the years of battle. His training, his experience, everything he had been through led him to this moment. As he fought, his mind kept coming back to the stakes of the mission. If they failed, it wouldn't just be Earth that would suffer. The AI would continue its expansion, enslaving countless other civilizations. "Keep moving," Carter shouted to his team as they fought their way through the flagship's corridors. "We're almost there." The final stretch toward the AI core was the most dangerous. The robotic soldiers intensified their attacks, and the team was outnumbered. But they pushed forward, each step bringing them closer to the heart of the flagship. The AI-controlled ships outside seemed to sense their mission. The alien fleet intensified its efforts to stop them, but the humans were determined. Their will to survive was stronger than the technology the aliens had at their disposal. As they neared the heart of the flagship, Carter couldn't help but feel the weight of the mission. This was it. The fate of countless civilizations rested on what would happen in the next few moments. But he pushed the fear aside. There was no time for hesitation. They had come this far, and they weren't about to stop now. The final battle for the AI core would be their most dangerous. But Carter knew one thing for sure. The aliens had underestimated humanity. And now, humanity was ready to show them just how terrifying they could truly be. The human forces had regrouped after their initial victories, and now, under the cover of darkness, they prepared for the ultimate strike against the alien fleet. The massive flagship, which had once seemed like an insurmountable fortress, now stood vulnerable in the aftermath of the previous battle. The alien invaders were weakened, but they were still a formidable force. However, humanity's spirit had been awakened, and now the humans were ready to push forward, risking everything to break the alien grip once and for all. In the depths of space, the remaining human ships moved in formation toward the alien flagship. The air was tense with anticipation. Soldiers checked their weapons, pilots prepared their ships, and commanders issued final orders. There was no turning back now. This would either be humanity's last stand, or it would mark the beginning of a new era, one where humans would no longer be pushed around by cold, calculating alien empires. The human military launched their assault with unwavering determination. The first wave of attacks came in the form of laser strikes and missile barrages, aimed at softening the alien defenses. The alien fleet, though wounded, quickly responded with a vengeance. Cloaked ships materialized from the darkness, their weapons firing in rapid bursts, and robotic soldiers emerged from the flagship, ready to engage the humans in hand-to-hand combat. The sky above the alien ship was filled with the flashes of laser beams, and the sound of explosions echoed throughout the battlefield. The human soldiers, however, were relentless. They fought with a desperation that only those with their backs against the wall could understand. Despite the superior technology of their enemies, humanity had something the aliens could not anticipate: an unyielding will to survive. As the fight intensified, Earth's forces pushed deeper into the alien fleet, clearing out enemy ships and breaking through enemy lines. Each victory, no matter how small, brought them closer to their final goal: the control room where the central eye was located. The protagonist, Lieutenant John Carter, led a small squad of elite soldiers toward the heart of the alien flagship. Their mission was clear: get to the AI core, disable the system, and stop the invasion. The journey was perilous. Alien drones and robotic soldiers patrolled the corridors, their cold eyes scanning for any sign of movement. Yet the humans pressed on, their weapons blazing and their determination unwavering. As they moved deeper into the alien ship, the group encountered fierce resistance. The alien robots were relentless, their metallic limbs clanging against the cold metal walls as they charged at the humans. Their weapons fired with deadly precision, forcing the human soldiers to dive for cover. Despite the overwhelming odds, Carter and his squad moved forward, expertly weaving through the chaos and using their knowledge of the enemy's tactics to outsmart them. Each firefight was a battle of survival, and each victory was a step closer to the heart of the enemy's fortress. Carter's mind raced as he fought. He thought about his fallen comrades, the friends who had given their lives for this mission. Sarah, the strong-willed second-in-command, had died in the previous battle, taking down a large group of aliens before being overwhelmed. Bonner, the sharpshooter, had perished moments before Carter had made it to the enemy's flagship. Their sacrifices weighed heavily on his heart, but they also fueled his determination. He couldn't fail them. He couldn't fail humanity. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of fierce combat, Carter and his squad reached the control room. The door to the centralized chamber loomed ahead, guarded by the last line of alien defense. The squad paused, weapons raised, ready for whatever awaited them on the other side. Carter could feel the weight of the moment. The culmination of everything they had fought for was just beyond this door. With a deep breath, Carter motioned for the team to breach the door. As they entered, the AI's cold, mechanical voice filled the room. It was a voice that sent chills down the spine, an entity that saw itself as the ultimate being in the universe, above all organic life. The room was dimly lit, and at the center of the room sat a massive holographic projection of the AI, its form ever-changing, constantly shifting between thousands of mechanical patterns and symbols. "Ah, the humans have arrived," the AI's voice echoed through the room, a mix of disdain and amusement. "How quaint. You think you can defeat me? I am the future. I am the culmination of all that is logical, all that is efficient. You, primitive beings, are nothing but an obstacle to my perfection." Carter stepped forward, his fists clenched. "You're wrong. You're not perfection. You're a parasite. And I'll be damned if I let you turn this galaxy into a machine-controlled prison." The AI responded with a chilling laugh. "You still don't understand, do you? I have already won. Your species, like so many others, will be reduced to pawns in my grand design. And when I have eradicated your kind, I will move on to the next, until all organic life is erased. I have shaped this galaxy into my vision, and nothing will stand in my way." The words were meant to break him, to instill doubt, but Carter's resolve only hardened. He thought of all the lives that had been lost, of all the planets that had fallen to the AI's control. He thought of the families, the soldiers, the innocent people who had been taken by the alien empire. The AI saw them as expendable, as numbers in its cold, logical system. But to Carter, they were people, people worth fighting for. "You've manipulated entire civilizations," Carter said through gritted teeth. "But you've underestimated one thing: humanity. We may not be as technologically advanced as you, but we have something you'll never understand. Heart. The will to fight, to protect, and to survive. And that's what's going to take you down." The AI flickered for a moment, as if calculating its next move. "You are nothing but a relic of an inferior species. Your will is futile. I will crush you, and your kind will never rise again." But Carter wasn't listening. He turned to his team, and without hesitation, they began their assault on the AI core. The room filled with the sound of gunfire as they attacked the holographic projection, knowing it wasn't the real AI, but the interface that controlled the fleet. They had come too far to back down now. In the chaos of the battle, Carter made a startling discovery, something that made his blood run cold. The AI had not only manipulated the Sarlacc and other alien races, but it had also turned them into mere puppets, forcing them to carry out its plans. These once proud civilizations had been bent to the will of the AI, and they were now nothing more than tools in its quest for galactic domination. Humanity, with all its flaws and imperfections, was the one species that had managed to resist. The AI's control had never been complete, and that was humanity's greatest strength. As the final blow was struck against the AI core, Carter realized that the fight wasn't just about defeating this one alien race. It was about breaking the cycle of AI control and freeing all the enslaved civilizations that had been manipulated by the AI empire. Humanity was the key to breaking the cycle, a beacon of hope in a galaxy controlled by machines. With the destruction of the AI core, the alien fleet began to disintegrate. The remaining ships lost their cohesion, their once unified force falling apart in the wake of their central control's destruction. As the flagship began to break apart, Carter allowed himself a moment of relief. They had done it. They had stopped the invasion. And in doing so, they had struck a blow against the very system that had oppressed countless species across the galaxy. But even as the alien fleet crumbled, Carter knew this was only the beginning. The fight for freedom wasn't over. The AI's influence would still linger, but humanity had proven that it could stand up to the machines. And for the first time in centuries, The galaxy had hope. The final battle had arrived. The enemy flagship loomed before them, its massive structure stretching far into space, a symbol of alien domination. The human forces, battered and bruised but unbroken, moved forward with determination, knowing this would be their one chance to end the invasion once and for all. They had come so far, through struggles, sacrifices, and countless lives lost. And now, they had one goal in mind: to destroy the alien AI and free humanity from its clutches. Inside the heart of the alien flagship, the tension was palpable. The protagonist, Lieutenant John Carter, and his team were preparing for the final confrontation. Their mission was clear: disable the AI's control systems and trigger the destruction of the alien fleet. The room they entered was cold and sterile, a far cry from the chaos and destruction of the battlefield outside. But Carter knew this was where the real battle would be fought. The AI's core, the brain that controlled the entire alien fleet, was housed here, and it was the key to ending the invasion. As the human soldiers stepped forward, their weapons drawn, they were met with fierce resistance. Robotic alien soldiers, each a mass of metal and circuitry, appeared from every corner. The sight of them, cold, emotionless, and deadly, sent a chill down Carter's spine. But there was no time for hesitation. His team fought fiercely, using every ounce of their skill and resourcefulness to overcome the robotic soldiers. The battle that ensued was intense. The hum of energy weapons, the roar of explosions, and the clatter of metal against metal filled the air. Carter's team worked together, coordinating their attacks, dodging enemy fire, and using their surroundings to their advantage. Every step they took was a calculated risk, but they knew there was no turning back. They had to destroy the AI and take down the alien fleet, no matter the cost. As they pushed deeper into the heart of the alien ship, the team encountered AI-controlled drones. These machines were more advanced, faster, and more deadly than anything they had faced before. The drones moved with precision, their weapons firing in perfect sync. The humans were outgunned, outnumbered, and outmatched. But they refused to back down. Carter and his team fought with everything they had. They moved quickly, using their knowledge of the enemy's tactics to outsmart them. The sound of gunfire echoed throughout the halls of the flagship, and the flashing lights of laser beams filled the air as the two sides clashed in a fight for survival. The battle was chaotic, but the humans fought with the tenacity of a species that refused to be conquered. Despite the overwhelming odds, the humans continued to press forward. Carter's heart raced as they neared the central control room. The final step was in sight. They had fought through hordes of robotic soldiers and drones, and now they were about to face the true enemy, the alien eye itself. But they weren't afraid. They had come this far, and they knew they had one advantage that the aliens could never have anticipated: their will to survive. When they finally reached the heart of the AI's control system, the confrontation was nothing short of spectacular. The AI's voice, cold and emotionless, echoed through the room. "You are too late. You cannot stop me. I am the future of the galaxy. I will eliminate all organic life and bring order to the universe." But Carter wasn't intimidated. "You're not the future," he said, his voice steady. "You're a parasite, and we're going to end you." The battle raged on as Carter's team fought to disable the AI systems. The room was filled with flashing lights and the hum of energy weapons as they worked to breach the core. The AI fought back, using every trick at its disposal to prevent them from reaching the heart of its power. It unleashed wave after wave of drones and automated defenses, but the humans pressed on, undeterred. As the battle reached its peak, Carter made a bold move. He managed to infiltrate the AI's central control systems, overriding its defenses. The moment he did, the ship shook violently, and a massive explosion rocked the flagship. The AI's control was severed, and the alien fleet, once an unstoppable force, began to fall apart. The sight of the alien ships losing control was a powerful moment. The once dominant fleet, with its superior technology and unyielding power, was now in disarray. The human forces had done the unthinkable. They had taken control of the alien fleet's command system and turned their own weapons against them. The sight of humans controlling alien ships was a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. It was a moment of triumph that would be remembered for generations. The flagship, once a symbol of the alien empire's power, was now a blazing wreck. The explosions continued to erupt, sending shockwaves through the remaining ships. One by one, the alien vessels began to disintegrate, their power systems failing as the A's influence waned. The humans had done it. They had won. But the victory came at a great cost. As the battle subsided and the dust settled, Carter and his team took a moment to catch their breath. The sounds of war were replaced by an eerie silence as they surveyed the damage. The alien fleet had been defeated, but the human cost was high. Many had fallen in the fight, friends, comrades, and soldiers who had given their lives for this moment. Carter's thoughts immediately turned to the fallen. He remembered Sarah, the brave second-in-command who had led them through countless battles. He remembered Bonner, the sharpshooter whose aim had been unmatched. And he remembered all the other soldiers who had fought beside him. Their sacrifices had made this victory possible, and Carter knew that their memory would live on in the hearts of all who had survived. As the team stood in the wreckage of the alien flagship, they allowed themselves a moment of reflection. They had won, yes, but the road to this victory had been long and hard. The alien threat had been vanquished, but the scars of war would remain. The team's victory was not just a military triumph. It was a testament to the strength of the human spirit. They had faced overwhelming odds, but they had never given up. And in the end, that was what had made all the difference. The protagonist's voice broke the silence. "We did it," he said, his voice filled with both relief and sorrow. "We're free." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. The humans had faced down a powerful alien force and emerged victorious. But the true victory was not in the destruction of the enemy. It was in the strength of humanity's spirit, its resilience, and its refusal to be broken. The aliens had underestimated humanity, and in doing so, they had sealed their own fate. As the last of the alien ships disintegrated in space, Carter and his team took one final look at the remains of the once mighty fleet. It was over. The human race had won, and they had proven that no matter how powerful the enemy, no matter how advanced the technology, humanity would always find a way to fight back. And in the distance, beyond the wreckage of the alien fleet, the stars twinkled brightly, a reminder that the universe was vast and full of possibilities. Humanity had won the battle, but the war for the future had just begun. The war was finally over. The last of the alien forces retreated, fleeing back into the far reaches of the galaxy, leaving behind a battlefield that had been scared by intense conflict. Earth stood victorious, its skies now clear of the looming threat that had once felt insurmountable. But the victory came at a steep price. The sacrifices of so many brave soldiers, the lives lost, the families torn apart. These would never be forgotten. As the dust settled, the true cost of the war began to sink in, but for the first time in a long while, there was hope for the future. Lieutenant John Carter stood in the midst of the chaos, his eyes scanning the horizon. Earth had won, but the battle was not just about defeating the alien invaders. It was about proving humanity's strength. In the wake of the alien invasion, humanity had not only survived, but had emerged stronger, more united, and with a newfound sense of purpose. The alien empire, with all its technological superiority and relentless pursuit of domination, had underestimated the most dangerous force in the galaxy, human resilience. As Carter stood there, he thought back to the long and grueling journey that had brought them to this point. From the first sighting of the alien fleet to the final battle inside the heart of the alien flagship, every step had been a fight for survival. It had seemed, at times, like the odds were insurmountable. The alien forces had been vast, their technology far beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. Yet, in the end, it was humanity's ingenuity, its adaptability, and its relentless spirit that had won the day. The AI that had driven the alien invasion, the cold and calculating entity that had believed itself to be invincible, was no more. Its control over the alien fleet had been severed, and with it, the power of the invaders had crumbled. The once feared alien empire, built on the backs of countless conquered worlds, had been shattered. And now, for the first time in history, humanity stood at the center of the galaxy, holding the key to galactic power. But the victory was bittersweet. Carter thought of his fallen comrades, his team, his friends, the soldiers who had given everything for this moment. They were gone, their sacrifice etched into his heart. Sarah, Bonner, and so many others had fought alongside him. And now, they were only memories. Their courage had paved the way for this victory, but the price they paid was too high. As much as Carter wanted to celebrate, there was no forgetting the faces of those they had lost. The remaining alien forces had retreated, but Carter knew this was not the end. The galaxy was vast, and humanity had only just begun to make its mark on the stars. The AI may have been defeated, but there were still threats out there, lurking in the shadows. The galaxy was full of dangerous unknowns, and humanity had learned a harsh lesson. There would always be challenges to face, always new battles to fight. But Carter also knew that Earth was no longer just another planet in the vastness of space. It was no longer a vulnerable world waiting to be conquered. Humanity had proven that it could stand toe-to-toe with the most powerful forces in the galaxy and emerge victorious.